Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll recap a great homecoming weekend here for the Ferris State Bulldogs as three Bulldog teams combined to go 5-0, football, volleyball, and soccer. We'll start first, though, with Bulldog Football and joined by assistant coach Ryan Hodges. Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Rob.
I know, a great homecoming weekend, and what's it like for you now that you've been here for so long, coaching so many guys that come back for homecoming weekend, and obviously guys that maybe played here when you were a college football player?
Yeah, it's always great to have homecoming, and I was out there on the field, and Devin Hutchins showed up and came down. His daughter goes to school here now, so I got a chance to see him. And then, you know, Connor was there, Swat was there, a lot of the guys we coached, and so just being able to see everybody, and it was a wonderful atmosphere. I mean, maybe one of the best atmospheres I've seen here for homecoming. Just lots of people. It was a beautiful day, and you know, everybody loves coming back to see the Bulldogs.
Obviously, you got a huge win over Rio Grande, a heavy favorite going in, but your guys still had to focus all week and prepare just like they would for any other opponent.
Yeah, when we kind of had a bad taste in our mouth after we faced Tiffin, and especially defensively, giving up a lot of points and having a lot of mistakes. It gave us a lot to work on going into this week. So this week of practice was very focused, and it didn't matter who we were going to face this week. We were determined to come out and be at our best. And the best thing about, you know, a game like this is we got to see a lot of people play. I think we had like 13 true freshmen playing the game and a lot of young guys and a lot of guys getting a chance to be evaluated.
As we go to the highlights, obviously it kind of started from the opening kick. Tariq Brett, we'll see, runs back the opening kick for a touchdown to really set the tone early.
Yeah, it was awesome to see him. You know, he's an electric kick returner, and for him to be able to start the game like that really allows us to kind of take a little bit of pressure off, and you know, he really does a great job here of hitting it. I thought for a second there they were going to get him, and then he just accelerated right through their entire kickoff team. So it was a great start.
Obviously, a lot of guys contributing there on special teams. Got some big blocks for him, and we've seen that game in and game out. The guys on special teams really do their job.
Yeah, Tim Allen had an awesome block there, and a couple other guys just got in the way and really sprung him.
Defense obviously was dominant here, gave up just 106 total yards, only 8 yards rushing here on the afternoon.
Yeah, I'd like to have seen less passing yards. There was a few plays where we'd like to have back, but you know, to hold a team to just over 100 yards is always a good day.
Obviously the offense here, the first team offense, very efficient here early on. As we saw Brady Rose score and Wyatt Bauer 7 of 11 in the air and had a great afternoon in some very limited action.
Yeah, it was good to see them execute at a high level and completing a lot of passes and getting a lot of people involved.
Obviously, the screenplay was big here in this first quarter, and Jeremiah Lee gets the team down inside the 10-yard line, and then Zach Ahern will get the score here on this drive.
Yeah, good to see Zach out there and finishing these runs off near the goal line.
Here, a big defensive play by your guys is Giassi Madison kind of forces the fumble, and Justin Payout ends up with the touchdown and gets named the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, I think there's only one season where J-Pay didn't score a touchdown, and so now he's got a third one in his career, so it's great to see.
Nice to see those guys really working together on the back end, and obviously the defense scored a couple times. You scored a couple times on special teams, and the offense did its part when they needed to.
Yeah, I think we kicked off like 12 times in the game, so and we scored in a multitude of ways. So it's a crazy game when you can get a kick return for a touchdown, a fumble return for a touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown, and a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. So that type of stuff doesn't happen that often, let alone all in the same game.
Chase Carter with the touchdown run, then finds Tariq Bauer, and then obviously you were in control at this point, leading it 42-0 coming up here at halftime.
Yeah, and this was you know, a nice play by Davier. Too bad it got brought back with a defensive holding call by Housey there on the double move. 19 was one of their quicker athletes, but you know, he just needs to do a better job of staying on top so we can secure that interception. But he at least gets a touchdown back for it later on the blocked field goal.
Obviously, the second half shortened to 2 10-minute quarters, and you had opportunities to get a lot of guys into the game. Kevin Sims here with the touchdown, and a lot of guys that really made an impression here on both sides of the football.
Yeah, it's always great to see when guys can get an opportunity. Like right there, Maurice Adams, true freshman, you know, shows how athletic he is by just catching that ball real clean and taking it back for a touchdown. Then EJ getting a blocked field goal, and Housey not falling down and scooping it up, and you can see his speed right here.
What's it like being on the sideline, just seeing some of those guys that are in there, for the most part on every series, really celebrating what these other guys can do?
Yeah, it's great. It's one of the things we emphasize. Like, no matter what's going on in the game, you're a part of the game. Be there to help your guys, help encourage them and coach them and all of that stuff. Good to see Jake Price running the ball too.
He had the carry here. LaShawn Mumfield gets a couple touchdowns running the quarterback position, and obviously you're able to work in a lot of guys, and a lot of guys did a lot of great things here in this game in the second half.
Yeah, there's nothing like a game experience. It's you'd rather have a game than not have a game. I know some people have to deal with having multiple byes in a row, and for us it was good just to get out there and play a game and work hard. You only get so many opportunities in the game of football, so to have 11 games in a season is a big advantage for us.
Obviously, that was the final non-conference game. You get the bye this week now, a chance to heal up a little bit and work on some things as you get ready to start conference play on the road next week.
Yeah, it's a bye week. Obviously you don't play a game, but we still try to keep the intensity in practice and try to improve, because at the end of the day, it matters what we do and how we improve. So for us, we're the faceless opponent that we face all the time. And so iron sharpens iron, they say. So we're going to go out and compete against our offense and try to work on some of the things that we've struggled with this year and try to improve so we can go into conference play and keep the ball rolling. Obviously,
you start conference play October 4th at Roosevelt, and first trip ever to face Roosevelt. They came here last year, but first trip going on the road to Roosevelt for that conference opener.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool getting to see a different environment. I looked it up. Their school is, I want to say, at least 35 minutes away from where they play at, so I don't know how that goes logistically for them, but it'll be neat being in a different city for a conference game.
How much did it mean to get through that non-conference portion of the schedule? Had a couple tough matchups, getting through that kind of unbeaten going into the start of the conference play.
Well, it's one of our goals. We want to start out 1-0, and we want to get to this point, this break in the season, and be 4-0 leading into the conference. So last year we weren't able to reach that goal. We lost week 1, and last week had a taste of a loss, against Tiffin. It felt like we lost, and so sometimes that's the best thing that can happen. As me as a defensive coach, when you give up that many points and things don't always go your way, but you can come away with a win, but learn more about yourself, it's a good thing. So I think we're in a good position right now to make a run game by game, and Roosevelt's on the clock.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Congrats on the big win on homecoming, and enjoy the bye week, and then right back to action, I know, next week.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.